Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out this evening. Whether you are here every week or this is your first time joining us, or maybe it's been a long time since you've been back, we are so glad that you are here with us this evening. And I'm so glad we've made it through another week of work and of worry, of headlines, to-do lists. But we've arrived here at our small island in time, this place that we call Shabbat, and it's a landing place for our bodies and for our souls. Before we go any further into our prayers, our singing together, I'd like us to fully arrive in this space. So if it feels comfortable to position yourself in your seat, maybe plant your feet onto the ground, maybe let your hands rest gently in your lap. Maybe soften your gaze, or if you wish to close your eyes for a moment. Let's take a slow, deep breath in through our nose and exhale a gentle breath out through the mouth. Let's take another deep breath in, filling our whole lungs, filling ourselves with this peace of Shabbat, and letting a long exhale out, letting go of anything that we do not need to carry with us, anything that we can let go of. Let's feel the seat beneath us and the presence of the people around us, the quieting hum of this space. And with each breath, let's imagine that we're moving further away from the week that we left behind and more fully into the peace of this moment. As we begin our service, may our breath help us to soften and to open and to become fully present to ourselves, to one another, to the Holy One who meets us exactly where we are. How good it is that we are all here together this evening. Let's join together with the words of Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Hine Matov U'Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Tonight it is our Simcha Shabbat, so I'm going to invite anyone who is celebrating a Simcha. Maybe you have a birthday coming up this month, something incredible has happened, maybe you received an award for writing some books. If you would like to come up and help us to light our Shabbat candles, I will invite you to do so now. I know that there are some of you. Anyone celebrating a Simcha this month, please feel free to come up and join us. Help us light our Shabbat candles. No. Hold on a second. to do the honors?
To light?
To light? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's the electric one, not that, the other, the pink one. You just turn it on, yes. There you go. Okay, so light here, please light it. Yes, you just touch it there and it should light. And there you go. And we'll invite that energy, that peace of Shabbat into this space, waving our hands, bringing Shabbat into this place, and we'll join together with our candle blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlikne shel Shabbat. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Every Friday night, we stand between two worlds. We have the world of our weekday selves, busy, probably stretched thin and striving. But we also have the world of Shabbat, which arrives not with demands, but an invitation. Shabbat doesn't force her way in. She waits for us to notice, to breathe, to soften. And she meets us exactly where we are. Lecha Dodi is our way of turning toward her. It's a poem of movement, of shifting our heart's posture from outward to inward, from doing to being. So when we sing Come My Beloved, it's not just a call to Shabbat, but it's a call to our own spirit to return home. Before we begin singing, I want to invite us to take another deep breath in and exhale out. And as you're doing so, imagining that you are stepping across this threshold, leaving behind the noise and the hurry, and entering a space woven with rest, with beauty, and with holiness. Let this song be the door that we walk through together. The words for Lecha Dodi can be found on page 138. We'll be singing verses 1, 5, and 9. And on the 9th verse, I will invite us to please rise and face the door as we invite Shabbat into our space. Page 138 or page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamilchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem hu tiferet ve'hitila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5,
Hitoreri, ki ba'orech u'mi'uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela.
rise, we'll face the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'sola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
Let's turn around and face our cam and say Shabbat Shalom to everyone joining us on the live stream, everyone joining us from afar. Turn to your neighbor, someone across the aisle, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let's show everyone some Temple-E love. As we begin to make our way back to our seats, let's not sit down just yet as we move into the Baruch Hu. The Baruch Hu can be found on page 146 or on page 28. If you have sat down, I will ask you to please rise physically or spiritually as we move into the Baruch Hu together.
La 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. La 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 la.
You may be seated. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide, and your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the time of tide and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. As we give thanks for that transition day into night, we'll join together with the words, roll into dark. You can see here on our screen.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Porei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei chol. Kolel dor mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Let's take another deep breath in as we move towards the words of Shema, our central declaration of unity. Taking a deep breath in, holding, letting it out. It is our custom here. We chant the first line of Shema together softly 4 times, and then on our 5th time, we will declare the words of Shema all together out loud. Shema Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Those of you who are standing, you may be seated. We move into the words of the Ve'ahavta, our love song to the divine. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anohi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohim, Emet. The Israelites stood at the edge of the sea with fear behind them and uncertainty ahead. And the waves didn't part because they were ready or calm or confident. They parted because someone, according to our tradition, Nachshon, took a step forward anyway. Freedom began not with perfection, but with courage. Each and every week, we are all facing our own seas. Obstacles that feel too large, situations that feel unmovable, moments where we don't yet see the path forward. And yet, just like our ancestors, we keep moving. We wade in and we trust that something will happen. Mi Chamocha is our song of remembering that the Holy One creates possibilities that we cannot yet imagine and paths where there once seemed to be none. It is a song of hope, of resilience, of believing that liberation is something ever unfolding, even if we cannot see how. So as we sing the words of Mi Chamocha, I invite you to bring to mind one sea that you are crossing right now. Something you're trying to move through or toward, or even away from. Imagine that with each word, each note, the waters open up just a little bit more. The words from Mi Chamocha can be found on page 158 or on page 40.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor and working wonders? Your children witnessed your sovereignty, and the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. This is our God, they cried. Adonai will reign forever and ever. As we turn to page 162, or page 44 for the words of Veshamru, the words Veshamru remind us that Shabbat isn't just something we keep, but Shabbat keeps us. It's the pause that protects us from becoming only our work, only our stress, only our to-do lists. So as we sing, I invite you to take another moment to ask yourself, what part of me needs to be held or restored tonight? Let this song be our reminder that rest is indeed holy, and tonight we can let Shabbat hold us. We'll join together in the words of Veshamru again on page 162 or page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
I will invite us all to please rise physically or spiritually as we prepare to say the Amidah. And as we do so, I want to invite us into a moment of grounding. Let's feel our feet onto the floor, steady, feeling supported. Let's maybe lengthen our spine a little bit, maybe drop our shoulders. Let's take another deep breath in, hold for a couple of seconds, and let it out, letting go of anything, any distractions keeping us from being fully present in this moment. This is our standing prayer, but it's more than that. This is our arriving prayer. It's a chance to stand fully as ourselves, held by this community, held by the Holy One. Let's take another deep breath in, rooting ourselves into the earth below us, letting go of anything holding us back from being fully present, softening the shoulders, the jaw, softening our hearts. And in this place of groundedness, we step into connection, we step into presence, we step into peace. We'll join together with the words of Adonai Svatai Tiftach on page 164 or page 46. Adonai Svatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. I will invite you to use this opportunity to dive in silently, using the words of our tradition or the words in your heart. And when you are finished with your prayer, you may be seated.
Ratzon imrefi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzur tsuri vegoali. Iu leraton imrefi vegion libi lefanecha. Adonai tsuri vegoali. Adonai tsuri vegoali.
At this time, we call to mind all of those who are in need of healing. There are a number of people for whom our community is praying for at this time: Barbara Bergman, Susan Brovler, Leslie Brown, Carolyn Borrell, Don Cable, Christina DeSuvic, Barbara Esmond, Bill Fisherman, Shanta Gabrielle, Sue Gupta, Nancy Halevi, Jean Hinken-Jones, Joel Esmond, Linda Rose Herman, Marcus Hyman, Judith Hyman, Mark Justin, Marcia Katz, Aidan Kozlovich, Lee Kurth, Mel Lang, Stuart Libby, Nancy Lipset, Rebecca Magana, Gordon Matsuoka, Claudia Mendoza, Arjuin Meredith, Mitzi Mild, Nina Morgan, Mort Nimiroff, Stuart Novick, Paula Perry, Martha Randolph, Jennifer Reed, Bonnie Richmond, Wendy Robbins, Patricia Sarles, Stan Satz, Arlene Siegel, Jeffrey Snyder, Mike Trask, Keith Turo, Butch Ugrin, Gerald Umeda, Harriet Weissman, Robert Wolf, Cheryl Wolf, Ruth Yathabetz, and Kathy Zane. If there is someone in our community for whom you are praying, I will invite you to please share the name of your loved ones now. To that list, my Aunt Sadie Cheryl. We'll join together in the words of Misha Berach, sending them a refuah shlema. The words for Misha Berach can be found on page 371 or 253.
Misha Berach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen.
Sending a refuah shlema to all of those names mentioned here, all of those names that we're holding in our hearts. May God send them swiftly a complete renewal of body and spirit. V'nomar, amen. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. So Parashat Chayei Sarah is remembered for a number of things happening in our Jewish story. The parasha begins with Sarah's passing, followed by Abraham's negotiations for a burial site. And then we begin the next generation as Rebekah and Isaac meet. But nestled quietly in the middle of all of these larger narrative moments is something quite small and perhaps easy to miss. But it's something that in its own way changes the spiritual trajectory of our tradition. It is the moment where Abraham's servant, our tradition gives him the name Eliezer, stops on the road, stands by a well, and offers the very first recorded personal prayer in the entire Torah. Not Abraham, not Sarah, not Isaac or Rebekah, not Moses, Eliezer. This ordinary man who was Abraham's household manager, a person who is not even named in our parasha, only named later by our rabbinic commentators, steps aside from his caravan, looks up, and whispers this private and vulnerable request. Adonai, God of my master, help me to find the right path. Show me kindness today. These are not formal words. It's not even liturgical or even poetic. It's just honesty. And perhaps that's the point. Why is it Eliezer the one who prays? Think about where he's at in this moment. He's been entrusted with a pretty terrifying responsibility. Go and find the woman who will carry the future of Judaism. No pressure. He's also quite far from home, and he's alone, and he's unsure, will I read the signs correctly? So in that moment, he doesn't rely on his own competence or even confidence. He doesn't pretend that he knows what to do, but he just stops and speaks directly to the source of life. Not with a script, not using the words of the Shema Amidah, not with any inherited formula, just a simple, trembling truth. I cannot do this alone. This is the moment where Judaism discovers personal prayer. Before this, prayer had mostly been through sacrifice, ritual structure, communal offerings. But Eliezer gives us the first example of what Rabbi Nachman would later call hit bodedut, spontaneous prayer, a kind of prayer that arises from the heart and there are no words prepared. It's not a rabbi praying, it's not a prophet, it's not a leader, it's just an ordinary person doing an ordinary thing, reaching out. So what does this teach us about a modern prayer practice? We live in an age where many Jews feel pretty ambivalent about prayer. People say, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. I'm not so sure I believe in a God who receives prayer. I don't know the Hebrew. The liturgy doesn't speak to me. Rabbi, I don't know how to pray, or even the words to say. But these aren't failures, they're openings. Because the heart of Jewish prayer is not about mastery or fluency, it's not even about certainty, it's about presence. Eliezer's prayer was not about theology, it was about honesty. He teaches us that prayer begins where pretense ends. You don't need to know who God is to pray. You don't need to be sure that someone is listening. You don't need to understand every Hebrew word or melody. You only need the courage to pause and say, this is what is true in me right now. That might be a moment of gratitude, a moment of fear, a moment of connection, a moment of longing, or even a moment of not knowing. Because prayer, again, is not about certainty. It's about relationship. And relationships require honesty more than perfection. So why do we need prayer now more than ever? We live in an age where our inner lives are undernourished. We're constantly connected, but are rarely grounded. We have information at our fingertips, but we struggle to locate meaning. We have endless ways of communicating with one another, but few spaces to be deeply seen. Prayer, honest, imperfect prayer, gives us a pause in that world that never stops. It can be a breath in a world that feels breathless. It's a moment of being instead of doing. And it's a way to touch the deepest parts of our own lives. So even if we don't believe in prayer in the old sense, prayer still believes in us, because there is something ancient inside of us that recognizes the power of stillness. There is something human that longs for moments of surrender. And there is something Jewish that remembers how to reach out. That is why our tradition teaches us that the gates of prayer are always open, not just the gates of ensuring a miracle or changing the world, but the gates that will change us. So what could this modern prayer practice look like? It doesn't have to be long services or just Hebrew or better choreography, just more truth. And there are ways to step into prayer that don't require belief or fluency, only your intention. At the end of the day, you can simply say, for the blessing of today, thank you. No parsing, no analyzing, just noticing. On an inhale, we can say, I am here. And on an exhale, Hineni. This is our Jewish mantra of presence. When we are overwhelmed, help me. When we are joyful, thank you. When confused, guide me. When grieving, hold me. And when numb, wake me up. This is what Eliezer does. Short, honest, human. You don't need theology. You just need truth. Eliezer's prayer also happens to happen at a well. This is this liminal space where something hidden becomes life-giving. Our inner world is like that well. When we allow ourselves to pause, to breathe, and to speak our truth, even just the few words we can muster, we draw water from the depths. And praying at the well reminds us that there is something sacred beneath the surface of our lives waiting to be drawn out. Prayer is not about returning to a past that no longer fits us. It's about cultivating a Judaism that speaks to the deepest parts of our human condition. Our job is not to recite words that we don't feel. Our job is to make space for the words that we do feel. To pray like Eliezer, honestly. To pray like Rebecca, generously. To pray like Isaac, quietly, meditatively, in a field at dusk. To pray like our ancestors, not perfectly, but sincerely. So what would it look like if each of us gave ourselves permission to pray, not as an obligation, but as an act of spiritual self-care, of grounding and connection, to say, this is what is real within me today, because our souls are thirsty, and our spirits need wells, and our tradition gives us the tools to draw water. I want to end with what Eliezer's prayer gives us above all, the permission to be vulnerable before the holy, to bring our imperfect, uncertain selves into sacred space, and to approach God, or meaning, or mystery, or breath with open hands, to stop pretending that we have all the answers and just let our heart speak. So this week, may you give yourself permission to pause. May you find your own words. And may you discover that the gates of prayer are wider than you ever imagined. And may your heart be drawn, like water from a well, toward a truth deeper than words. Shabbat shalom, everyone. It is my pleasure to invite up Josh Wish, who has some announcements for us.
I already recognize I'm vertically challenged, but after taking to the mic right after this, it does kind of underscore it. Shabbat shalom, everyone. How are you doing? And Rabbi, again, thank you for that. Anytime kindness is spoken from the bima, it always fills my heart with joy. And thinking of a prayer of "May I find kindness today" actually does feel kind of poetic. And then also because I'm a child of the 80s, when I heard you saying that he wanted to see if he would understand the signs, my mind immediately went to that then they would open up his mind. But I don't know if we have any other Ace of Base fans here, so I'll just get on with the announcements, shall we? So first, a quick note that Torah study is canceled tomorrow morning, November 15th. And thank you for the grace in that. That is in part because we are kidnapping the board and staff for a board and staff retreat all day. So we are putting that time to good use. Thank you for your indulgence. Looking a little bit further ahead, our third Thursday board games group. I'm not going to try to say that 3 times fast, but one more time. Our third Thursday board games group meets this Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m. here at the temple. Always good for some board games, relaxed morning, good company, bring your own snacks as always. Also coming up, a sisterhood event led by our own Jackie. We've got a Hanukkah candle making workshop on Saturday, November 22nd at 4 p.m. Fun, hands-on way to get into the holiday spirit, and as everybody knows Jackie, there's no one better to take you through a hands-on artistic exercise like that. Then a special community event, the 64th Nu'uanu Valley Interfaith Thanksgiving Service is happening on Tuesday, November 25th at 7 p.m., and our own temple choir will be singing Oseh Shalom as part of the service. If you'd like to participate in the music, Rabbi CJ, I believe people can contact you. Also, just a thank you to Barry. He has been able to get all of the volunteers he needs and some backup for the 53rd annual Thanksgiving dinner at the Blaisdell. So, Barry, thank you for making that happen, a true mitzvah. And just a couple of, one last quick reminder, actually, which is there will be, this is going forward, skip forward 2 weeks, past Thanksgiving. There will be no Shabbat services on Friday, November 28th, and no Torah study on Saturday, November 29th. So that doesn't mean skip next week. We want you next week, but the week after that. We're going to have those on pause because of the holidays. With that, I will go ahead and, but I'm seeing confusion. Did I get something wrong? No? Okay, this might just be my face then. I'm just reading confusion because that's me. I will get off the stage and give it back to these wonderful voices and this wonderful rabbi. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thanks so much for coming tonight.
I will invite us all to please rise for Aleinu. We'll turn to page 586 or page 282. Please rise. Aleinu l'shaveach Adon hakol, lateit gedula leyatzer breshit, shelo asam kilyei haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama. Shelo sam helkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch hu, ve'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, Lemelech al kol be seated. At this time, we pause to call to mind all of those who have passed recently and in seasons past. Our community is remembering a number of people at this time. We are still sending love and comfort to Deborah Wachowski's family. And at this time, we are also remembering the yard sites of the following individuals. Abraham Levin, Albert Adler, Alice Boxman, Alan Bloom, Anna Fuden, Audrey S. Barnett, Bella Goldstein, Carmela N. Kessler, Esther Cohen Lane, Esther Widman, Evelyn Sadker, Frank Kvatek, George Moore, Harold Harrison, Jack L. Anton, John S. Soros, Joseph Koch, Joyce Wolbert, June Raffle, Louis Philip Rosen, Marcia Lee Sivan, Max Jacob Wiener, Norman R. Ziffrin, Paulina Horman, Ruth Martell, Ruth Speckle, Samuel Epstein, Samuel Goldstein, Samuel Jack Foyle, Sandra Raffle, and William H. Bunton. If you are remembering the yard sites or in a period of mourning at this time, or if I happened to mispronounce the name of your loved one, I will invite you to please share the name of your loved ones now. If it is your custom to rise from Mourner's Kaddish, I will invite you to do so. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598 or on page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yonachon, Uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Olmei Almaya. Yit Barak v'yishtabak v'yit Pa'ar v'yit Ramam v'yit Naseh. V'yit Hadar v'yit Halei v'yit Halal Shmei Dekudasha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom bin Ramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Zikronam levrcha, may their memories be for a blessing. Amen. You may be seated. Have part of our simcha this evening is to be celebrating. Oh, sorry, got a little bit of feedback going on. Okay. Yes. Okay, is this comfortable enough for you? Okay. Try not to get a lot of feedback. So part of our celebration of our Simcha Shabbat this evening, oh, here we go. We understand that you two received a pretty prestigious award, is that right?
We did. It's the Elliott Cades Award for Literature for the most
too heavy.
prestigious, Hawaii's most prestigious literary honor. And it was for established writers. There was also a prize for an emerging writer. And we had the ceremony at the Hawaii State Library on Saturday, November 1st.
So let's give them some time. So it's a pretty incredible honor, and so Rosemary and Larry are going to be sharing some of their writing with us this evening. So.
This is our going to read Larry's preface to this novel. It's his writing and his preface.
My sacred white elephant. Many of us possess something out of the past for which we have never found a practical or decorative place. Maybe it's a gift-framed picture of a great-great-uncle, a bewildering trinket, an ugly vase, or a haphazard stamp collection. Or it may be a trunk stuffed with such items, all deteriorated, occupying space, but guarded by the concept that this item is precious and should be kept in the family, even though no family member remembers exactly why. My own white elephant is a rare holy book passed down from my maternal grandfather to my mother and then to me. Sefer Menorot Ha-Ma-Or arrived at our house in a flimsy white department store gift box nestled in folded tissue paper. This edition is written in Yiddish, the language that predominated among European Jews at the end of the 18th century when it was printed. Sefer, of course, means book. The English translation of Menorot Ha-Ma-Or title is The Candlestick of Light. It was originally written in the 14th century as a moral and religious household guide for Jews in the Middle Ages. The most important book of its time, it is filled with biblical topics and rabbinical interpretations on righteous living, a compilation of sermons, anecdotes, and tales drawn from both written and oral Jewish law and ethical teachings.
I cannot read Yiddish. The Sefer Menorot Ha-Ma-Or sat in my house year after year, deteriorating. In 2008, I opened the gift box, gently lifted the book out, and placed it on the table. Small brownish flecks of the heavy leather cover fell off. Carefully opening the cover, I found neat script on the flyleaf, dates ranging from 1803 through 1836, along with names I did not recognize, births I presumed. The edges of the yellow pages had turned brown as well. They were brittle too brittle to continue in my care. The projected extent and cost of restoration were beyond anything I could manage. Sadly, in its condition, I could not display this fragile holy book in the place of honor it deserved. I sought professional help. After consulting with a cantor and 3 rabbis, my Sefer Menorot Ha-Ma-Or was carefully packaged and sent on its way to Cincinnati, Ohio, for curator evaluation at the venerated Clow Library of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. Below is a description by Dr. Dan Retberg of blessed memory, who attested to the book's authenticity. Its permanent home is in the Clow Library's Rare Books collection. It was my honor to donate it. Sefer Menorot Ha-Ma-Or inspired me to create the basic plot for Death Steals a Holy Book. Forgive me for taking a few literary liberties with its condition, content, and monetary worth for the sake of the story.
In the long-standing Jewish tradition of seeking and passing on the wisdom of the ages, we have excerpted quotes from the holy text to include at the chapter heads in our mystery text. However, since the Sefer Menorot Ha-Ma-Or is a compilation of quotes from earlier holy works. We have chosen to label them as they appear in Sefer Menorah, Menorahs, or a very recent English translation of the Yiddish.
Just a quick summary of what the book is. Israel Feinstein is a restorer of old books in Baltimore, and he has just finished his work on the Menorah Hamaor, the candlestick of light. His light is brutally snuffed out, and the book disappears. What makes this text so valuable that someone is compelled to kill for it? Two Baltimore detectives uncover a puzzling number of suspects. Is it the controversial woman whom Israel plans to marry? The rare book agent who overextended himself in the stock market? Israel's busybody cousins who resent his changed lifestyle? He's having a romance with a goth woman. Or the wayward lad who thinks a gun is the way to big bucks. Dan and Rivka Sherman, who own the old Victorian bookstore, think they're going to have a very tranquil life, but when they inherit this rare ancient volume, they find themselves embroiled in a firestorm of deceit, thievery, and violence. Thank you.
We are so incredibly proud of you.
Can you tell us how many books you've written?
Can you tell us how many books you've written? You've written quite a bit.
We're working on book number 23 and 24.
Wow. Well, thank
We have published 22 of them already.
And people are asking where they can buy your books.
Online.
On
Amazon,
Amazon, also
Barnes and Noble. Go ahead.
our library here has
Yes.
a bunch.
Not all of them.
Well, she was saying that the library has several copies. So we want to say how proud we are of you. Incredible honor and we are incredibly grateful that we have such prolific authors in our community, but you also share your talent with us and share your incredible words with us. So again, we are just so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Risalto.
We appreciate it.
I'm going to invite us all to please rise, and we'll gather together in the aisles as we get ready to sing the words of Oseh Shalom, sending you all out in peace. We'll all gather together. If you feel comfortable, maybe gather here in the front. Put your arms around one another. If it's okay with your neighbor, we'll join together singing the words Oseh Shalom. You can find them here on your screen or on page 647 or 343.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, Amen. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, Amen.
We'll join together in the words of Kiddush and Motzi. And to you. All right, we'll join together in the words of Kiddush Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu bacharta, otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
And we'll join together in the words of Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I want to say again, congratulations to the Miles. Thank you so much for sharing your writing with us, giving a mazal tov to all of those who are enjoying a simcha, and who joined us on the Biva this evening. We also had a baby naming this evening for beautiful baby Miriam, so we're sending a mazal tov to their family as well. They were with us earlier. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have Oneg in the back. Please feel free to stick around, and thank you all so much for coming. Thank you. How are you?